You're way out of shot here. Do you care?
Oh no, we're just trying to figure things together. This video is gonna be like hopefully only a few minutes because it's gonna be us going like, I don't know what.
It would be all outtakes, but well, it's 2 hours of outtakes.
Hey everyone, welcome to Firestarter Games with our first physical video in what feels like months. We haven't had a PC to do editing on, had some issues with the last one, so we're building a new one. So this is going to be my personal gaming rig, the streaming rig, and the editing rig. So we're going to go through the parts and everything. John and I are going to put this together. We both have a lot of experience, but it's early 2000s experience. 2008 was my last build. John, when were you?
About 2001.
2001, yeah. And then Anna's still with us. She is working the camera behind us, so you'll see her in some shots, and I'm sure she'll have some things to say as we go. But we're going to jump right in and start slapping this thing together and hope we don't break anything. Feel free to leave comments, let us know how bad we did, how many things we screwed up on, we used too much thermal paste, whatever issues we have, but by no means is this a PC build tutorial because we barely have any idea what we're doing. So join us for the ride. So first thing to start off our build, we went with an X570 motherboard. Our processor is a Ryzen 7 5th gen, so this comes out of the box support for 3rd gen, but it looks like they sometimes do ship with the newest BIOS. If not, we'll have to do a BIOS update, but that's something I'm actually fairly confident with.
In case you're wondering, those were all words that make sense to somebody.
John, you know what you're doing, kind of. So the fun thing is the only thing I've actually unboxed prior to filming this video was the graphics card, because we did the classic waiting in line outside of Micro Center at, 9, 10 in the morning. Or 9, yeah, we got there at like 9 a.m. and they didn't open until 10:30. So this is the first time I've opened almost all of the other components. So I'll kind of pull everything out. John's going to help me with not only maintaining the keeping a track for everything, but also just the manuals and everything else, because we are going to read the manuals. We're not smart enough to just do everything on our own.
This appears to be some sort of cord.
Can't wait until he gets the power supply, because it is a fully modular power supply. So,
A book. It comes with a CD because it's 1996.
Yeah. So we are going to go ahead and take this. Oh, I put my fingers right on a pin that jabbed me in the thing. Alright, oh, that's interesting. It's like zip tied in. So I'll clip those real quick, but yeah, if you want to grab in the manual and go ahead and start reading like what we should do for setup, John. You're going to be, I think if this goes well, we might start doing regular Adam and John build things. Yeah, you're right. Well, I was thinking we could do like IKEA furniture and things like that.
Fair. Chapter 1.
It was the
In which Pooh built a house for Eeyore.
No, the first page is copyright. Oh, we have a motherboard layout. Okay.
That tells us where things are.
Well, and I'm sure I'm going to do things wrong. And again, in the comments, feel free to rip in and let me know what everything we are doing wrong, because I'm sure there'll be plenty that we are. One of the first things I'm sure that we are going to do wrong is do things out of order. But I'm going to start with the CPU installation, because that's, when I've watched all the YouTubers, that's what they do first. So
2.1, installing the CPU.
Okay, well, shoot, we skipped part 1.
What's part 1, John?
Part 1 was introduction.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
In which it introduced itself.
got it. Well, that's nifty, and I'm really glad they're doing that. So we do have Ryzen 7, 5800. So just 8 cores, simple. I did want to do a Ryzen 9 5900, but they didn't have any in stock, and that's, sometimes the breaks. So we're doing this for now. The goal is to eventually do a build for Anne. So when we do that, we will probably give her this, and then I'll upgrade to the 5900. Important, please read. Oh, okay, you got that. You're the reader. Okay, so the things I'm going to do is, I know the first thing you're supposed to do is touch all the pins, just to make sure that they're all there.
Do you want to straighten any of them out with our hammer?
Alright, now I got to look for where So on the motherboard, you're supposed to be able to tell where the pins go by the little triangle, and of course this is almost impossible
It
to see.
says put the triangle of the CPU on the furthest away from the lever thingy.
Okay,
Oh,
that's,
okay.
So
that's
that
what I thought.
It circled it in step 2.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So that should.
I don't know much about PC building, but I have done lots of IKEA. This is very similar.
I always get nervous when the lever is like giving me any resistance, but yeah, our CPU is installed.
Okay, good build.
That's like
everybody.
all right. That guys, that's a wrap. That's further than I thought we'd get. John, do you want this Ryzen sticker?
Yes.
Okay.
I like stickers.
So something else that did come out of like positives of this is to help get myself ready. We took apart a like 2003 or 2004 Dell home desktop. John's gonna take that case and put his. He bought a pre-build a while ago with like a. What's the graphics card in there? It was like a
2060.
Yeah, 2060, which is no slouch. So he's got a modern-ish graphics card.
It's an upgrade from my laptop that had onboard graphics.
So next thing I think I'm gonna do is go ahead and install the M.2 drive. We have 1 terabyte M.2 drive that's gonna be our boot drive.
Simple as that. Just put the screws in like Adam's doing.
It's just a 2-person job.
We had no trouble with this at all.
Yeah,
Just
the
for
jump
record.
cut that went through, we definitely didn't have any problem with the adhesive on the M.2.
No, don't worry about it. Don't
We're
worry about
lining up the ASRock M.2 armor. It definitely was as smooth as anything could be. All right, what are we doing next? RAM.
it. First aid kit.
Oh, that's a different story. I think my biggest concern, the thing I'm like the most like nervous about, is actually going to be power cables, because I can't remember the last time I did that, and then plugging in the front I/O for the motherboard, because that's the thing. So far we have the M.2 in, we've got the CPU in, so I think next is, I think we'll just go for RAM. Feels like the logical next step. I'm also trying to keep up with our garbage. We've got our box that our case came in. Some of those have screws we'll need later.
Here's a spare parts box.
Here you go.
Here, put them on the dish.
Just put them in the bags in the dish.
Yeah. That way we know where they
They're
are.
not spare parts, John. We just haven't used them yet.
They're not
Spare to me.
Not spare parts until everything's together and we're like, huh, wonder where this went.
Alright, so for RAM, I probably went overboard. Like, probably definitely way more than we need. But, what's that?
Hold on for the camera.
We have Crucial Ballistics gaming memory, so gaming RAM. It's 2 16s, so a 32 gig kit, with 3600 for the speed. CL16, if anyone cares about all that stuff.
Definitely more words.
What? Yes, I know. Anne's wanting me to. I'm gonna ready to put it on. Can you go and see RAM? Just make sure on this motherboard. Is it 1 and 3 or is it 2 and 4?
Einliuten.
Okay. You went to the German section?
I may have gotten to
I'm
it.
gonna say we're just gonna try and install our RAM. Where's that punch? Should be this firm.
There it is.
Okay.
Also might help not to have it on the box.
Well, that's what it says. Do.
Oh, okay.
It says to leave it on the box.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
interesting.
just would have thought it would have been like CPR, but easier on a tough surface for this. Or an immobile surface.
Push that RAM.
What was that one video we watched where the dude was putting the RAM in and he like snapped the stick because he pushed too
Oh
hard?
yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, so we've got RAM installed. It looked like, from what we could tell, that for ASRock's credit, I guess, they have an insert, but it's not very clear. So we're inserting in 2 and 4.
Do you want to pop the other tabs back up that you didn't use?
Sure.
I don't know if that matters.
No, it doesn't matter too much, but okay. So as far as anything else we can do on the motherboard before we put it into the case, I honestly think that's it. So our next step is to move on to the case. I guess we could install the cooler. Yeah, let's go ahead and use ID cooling, not someone I'm too familiar with. And everything seems great. There's like most of the manual is in Chinese, but most AIOs come from China anyway, or mass produced in China. So The only thing I did that I'm really kind of proud of is instead of using their built-in fans, which is the only thing on the reviews that didn't look like it got the highest reviews. Most people said to replace their fans. Other than that, everything else seems great. The new fans we got, I did go a little bit over the top more than we needed to, but I went with the Lee & Lee Uni fans, which if you've seen anything online, the second I saw these, my jaw hit the floor because I was like, how has no one thought of this before? And we'll kind of show the fancy features that make me think they're the best thing in the world. We're still going to use these as case fans because this case, I think, only came with like 2 case fans or maybe 1. So we're going to run these as additional, I think. Installing this cooler is going to be a little rough because I've never in my life installed an AIO. I've only ever installed, again, in 2008, I think AIOs were starting to come out, or water cooling was really getting more and more popular. But what we were mainly doing was little crappy fans or little crappy radiator towers that didn't even have a fan on them. It was just passive cooling only.
Now I have a question.
Yes.
Because I've watched the YouTube videos with you, but I don't know all the lingo.
Yes.
So what is AIO?
All in one. All in one cooling. So it is a liquid cooling, but you don't have to, when you do like, liquid cooling is typically like a ton of stuff. You need the pump, you need multiple radiators, you need to run the tubing all yourself. God, this has so many. They were ready for every CPU there. We've got all the Intel CPU attachments. We've got all the standoffs. Oh my god, I've seen a lot. Well, it did come with a little bit of thermal paste. We were thinking it didn't come with any because there's no pad on it. But we went ahead and bought, it's actually at Micro Center buying Corsair thermal paste, and he really sold me on this Thermal Grizzly and says it's just the best stuff you can buy. So shout out to him. If this doesn't work, we'll be back to complain. But
Made for real Grizzly.
Yeah. It's Cryonaut Ultra High something, high performance thermal grease. So we're gonna give it a shot. But John, do you want to tell me? All right. So which bracket do we need for AMD?
Okay, it's 2 Chinese characters and then the word CPU, and then 27 Chinese characters.
So this is Intel X8. So we don't need that one.
It looks like
This one.
This.
Sorry, there was a long cut there, and a whole lot of stuff happened, I'm sure. So if you're looking, and there's just a random jump cut, we had to look up a video because the instruction manual was 100% in Chinese with a few English characters. So we had to look up a YouTube video of someone else installing it. So we've got the backplate on, we've got the standoffs on. I just peeled the cover off of the copper plate, and then we're going to get our thermal paste. And this is the first time I've applied thermal paste in 13 years?
Since 2008?
It's like riding a thermal bike.
Oh god. I don't know how to ride a thermal bike either.
Then we're doomed!
The part I'm the most nervous about, and the part you get shredded for the most on the internet. So I'm sure I'll hear, even if we do a good job, I'm sure we'll hear something. Because I heard large grain of rice, I've heard all kinds of different things, but I'm just gonna...
I've heard orange size blob. About the size of a large golf ball.
Oh, that's way too much, but it'll be fine. The good news is, too much is normally not that terrible of a thing. So, alright.
Honestly, I think the nozzle, because,
yeah, the nozzle is
like, beveled or whatever.
Okay, so then applying this, so next we're going to drop this thing on. So our AIO is installed for better or worse.
Wait.
I resisted every urge to not just pull it back up and see how the spread went, just to make sure the spread went well, but I think we're good enough. Okay, so that's everything we can do. Okay, motherboard wise, right? We are probably doing things way out of order. Feel free to yell at us. Tell us we're all wrong. It's fine. We understand. So, have you ever installed multiple fans next to each other in a PC?
Yes.
And you've daisy-chained them together?
No.
Yes, you have.
Supposed to, I assume. From my limited knowledge of computers.
No. I had extra fans, so I manually just spliced the wires.
Okay.
You can lock them in. Lego fans.
Yeah, Lego fans. I did drop something, but I don't know. I think it's just like a
sticker.
It's my 3rd sticker of the day.
Heck yeah!
Yeah, so
One sticker collection.
there's one
4th
with every
sticker
fan.
of the day.
Love it.
There's one with every fan, and we have 6
Sticker
fans.
of the day.
So yeah, just I'll try and do it on the overhead. So normally with fans, whenever you run multiple fans together, which like these fans that came with our radiator, they have these wires for chaining them together to connect multiple fans together so that they run at the same speeds. They're running under the same, like they're getting the same information. So they have these fans, and so you'll run the different fan headers together. You'll daisy chain them together. There's like a string where they can plug into each other, and it's fine, but it creates this much extra cable that you have to manage. Lee and Lee came up with the idea that they're going to take, so these are two fans that are already connected, but I'll go ahead and connect the third one because it's like the easiest thing in the world.
What is it you can connect like up to 4 together?
Connect up to 4 under one controller. So to attach the other one, just to make them all run together, you just line up the things and then you lock it in. So these 3 fans are now going to run together. They're going to spin at the same time once the power's on and everything. The RGB is all going to be coordinated through all 3. It's just beautiful and they run together perfectly. So we're going to attach these to our radiator.
1 cord, right?
Yeah, there's 1 cord that, well, 2 cords that come off of this.
Yeah, but still. Way less.
Yeah, and then it comes with a controller.
You have to attach them.
Yeah.
Like, why don't they just have one?
They have 1 for, I guess they do only have, well, because they have, no, you're right, it is only 1.
That's what I thought. It was 1
No,
cord.
it is 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah, because 1 is for the board and 1's for the controller.
Yeah.
Since you addressable RGB, like 1's for the RGB.
Because you went fancy, and you can be all like, I can change colors.
And the thing is, like, you just slide the
So yeah.
thing onto whichever the end fan is.
Yeah, and then so you just take that and then just lock that in. I'm not going to put it on yet because I'm not sure where they're going to go. But yeah, so we're going to attach these. So now I just need to remember.
Rainbows are magic.
Great. That's the motherboard. Are we in the BIOS? So let's just say, yeah, okay. Stay on this time.
Okay, it's doing a little.
Got a spinny wheel.
Got a little
Got a
wheel.
spinny wheel this time. Adam's touching things.
And we're booted to it. Holy crap. Alright, so we're going to get things slapped back together, and then we will catch you guys later, or catch you on the next video. But you should start seeing physical videos again, because part of it was my PC actually could no longer keep up with my editing software. So that was a whole big thing.
Yeah.
But from there, just let us know what you want to see next, anything else, any more PC build videos, anything like that, and we'll catch you next time. Have a good one.
See you later.